Welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Let's talk about respect. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time, as always, and any interaction that you decide to provide, I am welcome to provide my feedback on. If you haven't yet, please take the time to check out kalehouser.com. Let me know what you think. If there's something that's messed up with the website or it doesn't flow right or it just doesn't look good, please let me know. I'd be happy to, or I'm always looking for that feedback to make changes based on suggestions and appropriate feedback. But I wanted to talk a little bit today about respect. I had the opportunity, my wife and I did this thing where it was brought up again about, if you haven't heard this, or if you're married or you've been in a relationship or you've read any sort of kind of relationship in the romantic sense, book or podcast or anything of that nature that talks about the relationships between men and women, one of the things, and I forget where it was originally coined or who kind of made it popular, was that women generally, right, this is a little bit of a generalization, women generally need to be shown love, and men generally need to be shown respect. And that, it comes down to, love languages and all these types of different things. But as a kind of common sense rule, it is more important for men to feel respected and for women to feel loved versus, vice versa, or versus vice versa, if that makes sense. So I got to thinking about this term respect, because I 100% agree with that statement, and it absolutely applies to my life. It applies to what makes me feel validated and verified and loved in our relationship with my wife, Liz, is when I am shown respect, when she respects me, whether it be, my decisions or, just whatever it is. She shows me that, respect. And I'm not talking about servitude. I'm not talking about, what's the word, like subjugation or anything like that. I'm just talking about genuine respect for another person. And then vice versa, when I show Liz how much I love her, whether by, actions or deeds or words of affirmation, all those things that show love, that's where she really feels fulfilled and valued. But I got to thinking of this in the sense, especially the respect side of the house, because, business, we're not going to talk too much about love because in a business environment, as a business leader, generally you want to stay away from that love kind of aspect of it. It can get you into a little bit of trouble if you're not careful. However, there is a degree of love that ideally you want to cultivate in your business with your culture of that mutual. And I would argue it kind of lends a little bit more towards respect, but that love and respect for each other as a team, as a company, as just, coworkers, and certainly within your hierarchy of your leadership structure. But respect specifically, I want to ask, how important to you as the business leader in your organization, whatever level that you're at, whether you're at the very top as the owner, CEO, whatever, or mid-level, or even just a supervisor of a handful of people within your organization, how important is this concept and this activity and this value of respect to you as the business leader? What is it from what your team, those that report to you, those that are work under you, those that are part of your group, what is it about their view of you that is important to you? Is it respect? Is that thing, if you haven't, because a lot of people don't actively think about these things. And as you're going through your day or your week or your month or your year, and you look back at those events that maybe either really kind of like, man, that's awesome, that really kind of filled you up inside, and kind of, validated and verified and just kind of reaffirmed your position, your leadership role, versus things that maybe tore you down or things that kind of got under your skin. What is it that caused that thing? And if you are a man and you are listening to this, and ladies, this can apply because we're not talking so much on the emotional connection level, but more on the workplace environment level. It was respect that you were shown the thing that kind of filled you up and got you going and really kind of validated you. And how important is that in your business? And we think about this a little bit, and of course I do a lot of military analogies in my business because that's, it's a lot of what I'm familiar with. And in the military and in that kind of hierarchy of rank structure and command structure, respect is very important. And we show respect by virtue of the rank, right? Because rank implies experience. It implies sacrifice. It implies lengthy service. All those types of things that that rank implies of responsibility and things of that nature. And it was even made famous in Band of Brothers, right? We salute the rank, i.e. show respect to the rank, not necessarily the man or woman wearing that rank, in this case, Captain Winters or Major Winters at that time in Band of Brothers. But if you think on the opposite end, you could easily have leaders, quote unquote leaders, that are in these positions of authority. They're in these positions of leadership or command or managerial or even owner, where it is very easy by their actions, by their mentality, by their personality, that they are not shown respect by their people. They may have employees, they may have staff members that report to them, work for them, but they are not getting that respect aspect because of certain things. And one of the easiest way to visualize this is, you're in an infantry unit, and we all can kind of relate, whether it be by movies we've seen or family members that have served, or maybe you yourself have served and you've been around or been in, an infantry type unit. They have a very specific task, and in order to do that task, they have very specific and strict requirements, especially physical, marksmanship, all those types of things, teamwork, that make them an effective infantry unit. Now, if you bring in whether it be a mid-level like captain, infantry captain, or a higher level major or colonel or, lieutenant colonel or colonel, and say that person is maybe a little out of shape. Maybe they got, like me, they got a little bit of belly going on because, by nature of being high in rank, they're a little bit older. Maybe they've got some medical issues or they're on some sort of a profile that excuses them from running, excuses them from that 10-mile, 40-pound ruck march that infantry units are known to do, or mountaineering units are hiking up mountains and things. And I would very strongly argue that type of person in that situation, because that aspect is so critical to that community, to that industry, in this case, the infantry type mentality, that they will not have the respect of their people. And in this type of situation, especially in a military type, it's absolutely critical, because that is what a military leader is called to do, is to, inspire and create, charge that hill type thing. Is how do you get people to sacrifice their life for a bigger cause? Well, you become part of that cause. And if you are shown in this instance, in this example, that, you can't run a mile. You definitely can't pass, a standard Army PT test or a, Air Force physical fitness test, whatever your service or that example. And you are showing that because of those things, you are not respecting the position or respecting the industry. And therefore, the people that are with you in that industry, especially if you are the leader, they will not respect you. And I want to bring this back to, the non-military aspect of it a little bit, of what is it in your industry that creates or causes either admiration and respect, or the complete lack of and maybe disdain on the other end. Are you in the HVAC industry, and because you don't know how to wire a condenser, or if you're commercial or fix a chiller, if you're working on big buildings and industrial type stuff, you may lose the respect of your technicians because you don't have that kind of knowledge. Even though maybe you've transitioned out of that kind of phase of being the technician, being the person on the ground, so to speak, and going out and handling the wrench turning and the screws. You may lose that respect, especially if you're trying to maintain that level of connection where you're interacting day to day with your technician level type of people. But there's 1,000 examples in all kinds of different industries where this is an absolutely critical point that you need to be aware of. And if you are not meeting that in some manner, you need to fix it. you're the leader. You're the one that's responsible for creating that culture. And if by your actions, whether it be your physical fitness, whether it be your knowledge level, the hours that you keep, by your action, if you're creating that culture where your people that report to you or see you or you're expecting to follow you, whatever that looks like in your business, if they don't respect you as the leader, you're never, let me say it again, you're never going to create this culture and community in your business specifically that is awesome. They're just going to be people that are there for a job. And that is, if this is you, if this is something that you've kind of identified, you may be able to link that back to like, why did Steve leave, for this other HVAC company across town for similar money and stuff? And it's because maybe he's more attracted to that culture where everyone is a part of it, i.e., their technical skill and knowledge and, all those types of things. But there's a manner that Steve can buy into a little bit more, and respect for his new boss could easily be a part of that. So that's something that it's easy to not connect that dot of what could be causing a lot of the disconnect in your business or in your teams or organization, is a lack of respect. Because not everyone overtly shows disrespect to people. You don't have to go up to somebody and yell at them and be disrespectful to have an attitude of disrespect towards somebody. Does that make sense? If you were to join a gym and you signed up for their personal trainer service at, whatever it is, $75 an hour, $100 an hour. I don't know what a personal trainer charges, because I honestly have never gone that route yet in my life, although arguably I could probably use it. But if you walked in and that personal trainer came up to you, chowing on a donut, at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 in the morning, chowing on a donut, offers you one, but it's not like a test, it's not a slap it out of your hand type of thing, and they've got a bunch of extra weight happening, and it doesn't look like they could do 10 push-ups, let alone 20 or 50 that you're trying to get to, or a pull-up. You don't necessarily have to disrespect them in that moment, like overtly, but you're probably not going to go back to them. Why? One is, it's apparent by their appearance in this example that they can't meet your needs, that they are not living the lifestyle that they're trying to teach others to do. And that is, you just don't respect them. You don't respect their opinion. You don't respect their lifestyle and all those types of things. And it's something that is just, you can't continue with that person, right? Does that make sense in this example of like a personal trainer and trying to get fit and things? It's when there's that disconnect of what supposedly they stand for in the form of their job, in the form of what they're trying to teach people. And this can absolutely apply to you in whatever your industry is. And there's that disconnect. Whether you're a fat general that's trying to lead an infantry unit, it's never going to happen. Does that make sense? So let me just kind of wrap that back around in the sense of, if there's something you can't quite put your finger on that's causing what appears to be a disconnect in your office, in your shop, in your classroom, whatever that is for you, take a second and look and ask yourself, like, am I embodying the person, the leader that this team, this organization needs? And would they follow me? Do they want to follow me? Would I follow me in this scenario? Like, rewind yourself 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, and say, hey, if I were working for me, would I respect what I stand for and all those things? And if the answer is maybe or probably not, then that's the time to kind of take it a step further and really look at that analysis of what can you change, what do you need to do differently, and where is that disconnect. So, and I would absolutely love to help you with that if that is the case. And it's something that we can absolutely help you move from that area of disconnect into creating this amazing connected workplace culture that you can absolutely have confidence in as the leader. So please make sure you check it out. Drop me an email at kale@kalehouserleadership.com. Go to kalehouser.com, book an appointment. I'd love to talk to you. And yes, it will be me or potentially even Liz. And we would cherish the opportunity to help you in your business. It'd be fantastic. So thank you for joining me today. No matter where you're at in the world, have a fantastic afternoon. Bye.